like to call them God winks and God nudges, especially in the field that I'm in the work that I do. That when I'm getting a lot of people coming to me for a lot of the same things, that means collectively, a lot of people need the same stuff. Like collectively, things are happening for people, whether they are private or public about it, that are hard and difficult. And um, so people reach out to me, and I love that they do that because sometimes we just need a little nudge, we need a little guidance, we need support, or we just need somebody to hear us. Okay. And collectively, I've noticed a lot of people who feel overwhelmed, overstimulated, overworked, kind of in this place of like, what is going on? And, my spiritual girlies and the TikTok witches and all of them talk about how, the planets are a mess. We're in eclipse season. I subscribe to the moon and all of her nonsense and also her good things that she does. But things happen and eclipses happen and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, like, there's a collective chaos in the world.
Hi, welcome to Say More Words, a podcast that was created to emphasize the human experience through stories. I hope that you come here to learn, to expand, and most importantly, learn how to say more words. Speak your story, speak your truth, boo boo. We're so happy you're here.
Hi, friends. How are you? Happy tea time. It's almost a Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. It is September 30th when I am recording this. We are doing a special edition tea time and podcasting time. So, again, like we did last week. And so you can catch this on the podcast as well. If you are not already a viewer of the podcast, but you're here in the Facebook space, the podcast is called Say More Words. We have guests and stories, and its purpose is to bring to life the human experience so that you, one, feel like you're not alone when you're in the madness, and two, you realize that you are just not so special to be the only one. And I know that sounds offensive and harsh sometimes, but you're not. And there are other people who have gone through what you're going through, or have experienced things, or have the storybook to your next chapter. And we bring them to light and say more words. So, but we also do them on tea time too, like I'm doing now. And if you are listening to this and not watching it, I need you to like, I'm just going to describe the cup. It says, "Thanks for always liking my posts." This is one of my favorite cups. I got it at Target. But thank you for always liking my posts, being here in this space, for when I'm here all the time and when I'm a little bit quiet. Thank you for being here. Song of the day that we always do on Say More Words. Song of the day is "Going Through Hell" by Rodney Atkins. My friend Chris posted it on a post that I did this morning, and the topic of today's podcast is similar to the post. And he posted the song, and it's just very, very perfect. So if you're going through hell, keep on going. I, there's like, we've talked about this a lot over the last year of transition and hard times. And I think that just as a collective, we're going through like very interesting times. If you are a millennial or older, um, we're pretty sick of living in unprecedented times. Like, I don't ever want to hear that. What is a precedented time? What does that feel like? Because unprecedented, I can't even say the word right, but you know what I mean, is ghetto. I hate it here. In the world, unprecedented times. I can't even say the word. I'm going to stop saying it. I'm going to stop. But that's like the phrase of our generation, is living through all of this nonsense. But I had this thought, and I've had quite a few people who have reached out to me over the last few weeks. And I always know, I like to call them God winks and God nudges, especially in the field that I'm in the work that I do, that when I'm getting a lot of people coming to me for a lot of the same things, that means collectively, a lot of people need the same stuff. Like collectively, things are happening for people, whether they are private or public about it, that are hard and difficult. And um, so people reach out to me, and I love that they do that because sometimes we just need a little nudge, we need a little guidance, we need support, or we just need somebody to hear us. Okay. And collectively, I've noticed a lot of people who feel overwhelmed, overstimulated, overworked, kind of in this place of like, what is going on? And, my spiritual girlies and the TikTok witches and all of them talk about how, the planets are a mess. We're in eclipse season. I subscribe to the moon and all of her nonsense and also her good things that she does. But things happen and eclipses happen and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, like, there's a collective chaos in the world. We're in that right now. We are in the height of eclipse season. Multiple eclipses, back, just all over the place. And there is a collection of people who are all feeling the very weight of the world. And me being one of them, not gonna lie to you. I and when I feel the weight of the world, sometimes, even though I'm an Enneagram 7 and I'm like bubbly and fun and I believe in joy and I can manifest like nobody's business, even though all of those things are true. If you know anything about Enneagram 7s, when they experience a rough patch or even a potential path of negative growth, they go deep down into a deep dark spiral. And it's not cute. It's not my favorite place to be. Um, but I realized last night when I was having an absolute meltdown. Back up. I'm going to say that this post today is sponsored by Chris with Driver's Edge in South Lake. If you live in DFW, you need to go to Driver's Edge. I'll even link the website and the address. Out of all of the places I've ever taken a car, they are the most considerate, the most caring, and don't talk to me like I'm an idiot girl with car problems. And I love that. And they're very upfront and very forward. And Gloria, we've talked about her and her gang signs. Well, it turns out they're getting worse. And Gloria is not doing so good. So let's add her to the list of things that have died this year for me. And she is quickly going downhill. And the people, Chris specifically at Driver's Edge in South Lake, is walking me through a real dark part of my life. Because I don't know about you. I don't like not everybody loses their mind over car stuff, but like it's just very disheartening for me. It is a level of safety that is very obviously very important in today's world. And when my car goes down, I don't want to, I'm just a girl. I don't want to have to figure it out. Like, it's very, and so to hear that Gloria is on her last leg of life, not my favorite. So, but at Driver's Edge, they're very compassionate, very understanding, guided me through a lot of things, talked me through a lot of different things and a lot of different options. And it's just good. So y'all need to go to them. But that happened yesterday. Happened last night. And I was just kind of in this space. Like I'm in a space of exponential growth inside of the business. Good things are happening, things are changing, new programs are going to be launching soon. A whole new business concept is in the works right now. And, then this happened, and a couple of like things that aren't great are happening right now. And I just kind of sat here in the quiet, crying, and I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Going through all of the ridiculous things inside of my head, things that I failed before at, and can I do this? Very big on the can I do this and questioning whether I can or not. And you all know that's not something typically I do, but like I'm really in this like heavy state last night of like, what the fuck am I going to do on not just my car, but just like a lot of different things in life. And I was sitting there. And then I thought about it for a minute, and very clear as day, the quote that you may have seen floating on Facebook or like maybe on a home goods sign was the quote, "The devil doesn't rob from empty houses. He just doesn't. He doesn't rob from empty houses." And the thought that was radiating through my brain at that moment in time was every time I move to a next level, or I work to move to a next level. Every time I get that momentum to accelerate and move and grow, something big happens. Usually it's with my car. Usually it's with my car. I was stranded in the middle of Davis Boulevard about 6 months ago, and 6 months prior to that, where she just died. Cost me a lot of money. And for whatever reason, he knows that that's what paralyzes me, I guess. But usually it's my car, and then like other things start coming up. And then all of a sudden, you probably experience this where you have this like ricochet effect of everything that can go wrong starts happening. And you're like, what the heck? Like, I'm not trying to attract this. I rebuke this in the name of the Lord. But like all of these things are happening, and you become overwhelmed, overworked, and overstimulated. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell? And I'm sitting here in this moment, and I realized last night, I'm like, oh, I'm about to elevate. I'm about to elevate. Of course I am. If these things that are happening that I can't quite figure out, I'm about to elevate because every time in the past when big things like this would happen, it would push me down 3 steps. Instead of moving 3 steps forward, it would push me down 3 steps. And I would wallow and I'd sit in the pain and I'd sit in the hurt and they'd also sit. Here's my other reaction. I don't know if you do this, but I can tell you for a fact that I do. That when help is provided, I don't think that I'm worthy enough to be helped, so then I don't accept it. Fun little thing that happens. And so, even though people could be showing up to help or asking to help, or even just simply asking, are you okay? Like, simple thing to when somebody has something big happen, like, are you okay? I would just like deflect it. And of course I did. Because when the devil wants to keep you small, he'll throw everything he can at you, like every single thing. And you may not believe in, like, you may not have a spiritual belief, may not believe in God, and here in this space, like, I believe what I believe, and you believe what you believe, and I'm not here to change you on anything. But I do want you to consider that there are probably moments in your life where you felt like you're moving forward and you were pushed 3 steps back, and you felt like you're moving forward and you're pushed 3 steps back. And I just want you to take into account what it was that you were trying to go after, or what you were trying to do, or maybe who you were trying to become, or what you were healing through when you got pushed 3 steps back. Now, I don't know about you, but I for sure don't want to sit in a space where I innately am in that path. I don't want to. It's not fun. It's not exciting. And even outside of the not fun, it's not prosperous. It doesn't feel good. I don't feel good when I'm down. I don't change lives when I'm down. I don't get to spread the word and the message, and I don't get to help people get out of the muck when I fall down like that. But of course I don't, because the better that I become, the more work I can produce, the more energy I have, the more present I am, the more joyful I am, the more um, part of the human experience I am, and the more work that I get to do in helping others get out of that rut. So beg, it would make sense that there was something pushing me down so that I can't elevate up and elevate others. I choose to believe that there is an enemy like that exists in the world, as opposed to thinking that I don't love myself enough to keep moving forward. If that makes sense. It's just a more comforting thought inside of my head. So the devil, I sat in that space and I really thought about it. And it's one of my journaling prompts for today, but like really thinking about the times in which I needed to make a really big decision, or I wanted to do something new, or I wanted to, excel to a new platform, or make more of an impact and a difference. And something would come in and knock me 3 pegs down. And I will tell you that in the past, I would go along with the 3 steps back. And that kind of hurts and that kind of sucks. And I don't like that realization, and I don't like thinking about that about myself, but that's real. That I would go with the flow of being pushed 3 steps back and sitting there. That's just that's the reality of it. However, now that I am aware of said reality, that is not going to be my reality moving forward. Um, it is an absolutely magical thing to bring awareness to the hard things, because that's You can't change what you aren't aware of. Plain and simple. You just can't. And if you can't change what you aren't aware of, you repeat those patterns. I am now hyper aware of that pattern. I am now very aware that I will get pushed 3 steps back when I'm about to make massive moves in my life, like every single time. So, of course, like this morning, I woke up and I was like, of course, Gloria is on her bullshit today. Of course, let's just end this year of death with one more thing. Okay. Let's just take her to the grave. Of course. But instead of being in panic and instead of being in worry, and instead of being in this space of like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out, instead of being in that resistance, I'm like, I can't wait to see how I figure this out. And being in the space of like, I can't wait to see how I figure this out is more empowering. It is a mindset shift. I also am hyper aware of what the energies around me are doing to either aid in the pushing me 3 steps back or to aid in helping me move 3 steps forward. And so I did a post this morning about how it is just truly remarkable that when the devil shows up in all of his fury to push you back, how God has placed true angels on earth to help move you forward. Um, it is never lost on me when people randomly text me. People I haven't talked to in years, people I haven't seen in years will text me and be like, hey, I was just thinking of you, hoping everything's okay. Or my friend Alexis this morning was like, hey, just wanted to let you know I was praying for you just now. And I was like, well, that's perfect because that's exactly what I need right now. I need some prayers on my behalf. Thank you. Or people show up and say, you don't have to figure this out alone. We've got this. We're going to figure it out. As humans, and you've heard me preach this 1,000 times, and I'm going to preach it once more. We are a community animal. Okay. We are community beings. And you truly can't do anything on your own. There are things, yes, you can do on your own in this life. But for the people who say, like, I've done this all on my own, or like, I can do all of this on my own, or even like, I could have done all of this on my own, or like, I don't need anybody, that's not real. It's not. That's not how we survived back in the day when there was frightful things chasing us like saber-tooth tigers. And that's not how we survive today when frightful things like vehicles falling apart show up, or a family member dies, or your business isn't working, or you're overwhelmed, or you're overworked, you're overstretched, you're overstimulated. A lot of people think like I can get out of this on my own. And if you can, boo, I love that strength for you, but you shouldn't, and you don't have to. And there are people in this world, myself included, who have a fear of asking for help, or have a fear of being a burden, or have a fear of like, I can't figure it out, and then shame, blame, guilt spiral. And those are very real things. Those are very real fears. And I do believe in my heart of hearts, the devil feeds on those fears and really holds on to that space and really holds on to that and will capture you. And basically, it feels like, at least for me, it's different for everybody else, but it feels like my chest cavity is caving in. I can't breathe. I'm not going to figure it out. And when you get into that space, you feel like you're unsafe. And as you know, the core wound of I'm unsafe is I am unloved. And then it spirals, it spirals. And then you do truly feel alone. And then you don't figure it out. I will tell you that it is way easier to figure out problems while talking through it with somebody else than sitting inside of your brain by yourself in an emotional turmoil mess. So, if you are maybe someone who struggles with hyperindependence, you are overstimulated, you're overworked, you're kind of in this place of like, I can't figure this out, or maybe I can, but I don't know who's going to figure it out for me, or like, and that's the thing too. At the end of the day, when you ask for help and you ask for guidance, sometimes we think it's that person figured it out for us. That person was just a safe foundation for you to figure it out together or for yourself. Sometimes all it takes is just that one person with empathy and care and a deep love for you and a foundation to be like, we can figure this out. That's all it takes. We can figure this out. You aren't truly alone in any sense of the word. And so having those safe people, having the, as I call them, angels on earth who stand in the trenches and get in the space of, we can figure this out. Those are the anchors that help you defeat the devil because the devil loves you in solitude. The devil loves you by yourself. The devil loves it when you think you have to figure it out by yourself because he knows you're not going to. You truly aren't all alone. So, um, and that is like my biggest revelation of the last 24 hours is like, you can't, and you have to ask for help. And, and when something big is coming, I often find the biggest struggles happen right before that big thing shows up. After the storm, after we had awesome storms last week. They weren't as like violent as they were promoting on the news. Like they were saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have hail and all of that. Pull your cars in." So we did, and then it didn't happen. But we did have big thunder clouds and big lightning clouds that were so beautiful. But then the very next morning, we had some of the most beautiful sunrises I have seen this year. And as cliche and home goodsies as it is, the greatest sunrises come after the greatest storms. So if you're sitting in that storm and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I don't know how I'm going to make it, and I don't know what my next step is, and I am all alone, if that's a lie you're telling yourself, and I can't figure this out. If all of these are lies that you are repeating over and over and over inside your head, that means you're in the height of the storm. The devil is controlling it, and or whatever negative entities you want to say it is. Um, and its purpose is to keep you small. But you were never meant to be small. You were never meant to struggle. You were actually given the greatest gift to be prosperous and abundant and present and alive. And when you can get past that space of this is happening to me, like this is a direct attack and this is happening to me, and you can get to the place of, okay, what is this meant to teach me? How is this meant to move me forward? What lesson am I supposed to be learning? And what is on the other side of it? What is on the other side of all of this chaos? Because it is truly a beautiful sunrise. Um, and that's what I'm going to keep telling myself. I'm going to listen to this on repeat until I believe it, until I'm back in that space where I'm like, I can do this. I can move forward. I can be prosperous and I can do all of these wonderful things because I can. I can. Um, if you are in that space right now and you're like, I don't know what to do or who to talk to or where to go, this afternoon, probably around 2 or 3, my team and I are going to be launching a program that came to me during all of the chaos because I know that there are a lot of people out there right now filled with chaos and overwhelmed and overstretched and overworked and overstimulated. And so the program is going to be a 90-day program. It's called Not Dead Yet. And typically, if you've been around for years, you know that I always do a last 90 days bet on you challenge where you pay money in and you can get that money back as long as you do all the activities. This is not going to be that, but it's going to be similar in the sense that you are going to have habits and routines that you are going to have to stick to. Not a lot, but for 90 days, for the last 12 weeks of this year, I am going to go on and teach once a week and then have open coaching sessions. So if you are in a space of overwhelm, overstimulated, overworked, can't figure it out, have an idea, can't get past the storm, can't get here, there, anywhere, and you're in the tornado, right? You're in the chaos. Each week we will have a lesson and you're going to have challenges and things to do. You're going to have a community that's surrounding you and cheering you on, who are probably in the same space as you and are moving and grooving. The last 90 days of the year is almost more important than your January nonsense. And you know what I mean by January nonsense. Your new year, new me. No, the last 90 days of this year sets the foundation for your next year. And so the last 12 weeks can be the most impactful. But what we find is that they are the most chaotic because we have all of the holidays, all of the galas, all of the things happening all the time these last 90 days. And so people get lost in it. And so if you're already overwhelmed and you're already overstimulated, then you add the holidays onto it and all of the chaos, and then it gets worse. And so inside of Not Dead Yet, what's going to be really important is anchoring in and having a foundation that you can lean on and talk through and process through and learn from so that these last 90 days don't kill you, they prosper you. That you can move forward through that space and be seen, heard, loved, and cared for without any emotional attachment, without any financial attachment to you. It is a space to come and grow. So if you are sitting here in this space and you're like, I'm definitely in the storm, and I think I can see what's coming next, but I'm not quite sure. But I know that I want what's next. Not Dead Yet is for you. Because here's the kicker, boo boo. You're not, thank God Almighty, you are not dead yet. You're not. And this is how we process forward. This is how we move forward. I'm super excited about it. The last 90 days is always my favorite challenge. It's always my favorite program. And I'm just really excited to bring it to you. So you'll see it live here sometime between 2 and 3, and grab your spot. We are limiting the spots in this program because we want everyone to have the care that they need and to have the ability to coach with me at a rate that is the lowest rate ever. So you have the ability to be in my space continuously. That's one of the things that I get asked for regularly is how can I be in your space regularly and all the time and learning and doing the things. And you'll get it from the podcast and you'll get it from tea time and you'll get it from stages, but it's a different experience when you're in the room. So be like Lamar Odom as Aaron Burr and be in the room where that happens. Okay, don't just want to be. Well, I guess Aaron Burr was the one who wanted to be. Let me. You want to be Hamilton because you want to be in the room where it happens. Don't be like Aaron Burr, hoping and wishing that you were in the room where it happens. Okay, boo? So, not dead yet. Don't let the devil win. Don't take your 2 steps back as proof that you're not worthy to move 10 steps forward. And that's the tea for today. I hope you have a great week. It is October 30th or September 30th. So I'm going to post my favorite meme here right after I get off of this from Rocky Horror Picture Show. October's about to be here. My favorite months of the year are about to be here. October, November, December. Let's do this. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. I live for this season. So the last 90 days are going to be great for me and you. Talk to you later, boo.